Hello, everyone. Now, today we are going to go through some of the party items, things, and because if I'm correct, the topic is the best party ever. So, we are just going quickly through some of the items, and after that, we are going to do our um, family and friends books. Okay, so let's start. Obviously, party. Party, obviously, it's an event that we are celebrating. Obviously, the best example would be a birthday party, right? So if you have a birthday or your friends have a birthday and you are going to have a party, right? And the rest of the items that we are going to go through is obviously what we usually see at the parties, right? So what else? What else aside from birthday parties? We also have some events, let's say, such as one of the biggest and the famous one would be the Christmas, right? Or New Year party. What else? Birthday party, New Year party. Any other national events that we can take as a party from, like say Songkran, the Thai New Year, right? We celebrate and have a party, water party, you could say, and obviously the rest that there are in every country or worldwide. As I already mentioned about the Christmas party or New Year party. Okay, let's start. So, obviously, we mostly or usually have balloons at the parties. And yes, balloons. Horn. Horn, obviously, it's the item that we blow and it makes a very, very funny noise, a celebrating noise, a party noise. A horn, we usually use it, as you can see in the picture, a clown would use the horn, right? As you can see here. He uses the horn as the little girl here as well, which most likely uh, is attending someone's birthday and also using a horn, right? So, what else? Candies. We like candies. We use candies. We eat candies at the parties. We have cake, obviously, mostly during birthday parties. Then obviously we also have chocolate. I guess just regular meals at the parties. I assume this would be a reference to the birthday party again, right? So we like to eat a lot of sweets during parties and obviously to have a good time. A clown again during a birthday party usually to entertain some kids. Okay, confetti. Okay, now confetti is an interesting thing because it's actually used in most cases of parties. Doesn't matter what are there for, and are also a sign of a celebration, right? So a safer version of a firework, I would say, right? Confetti would that be? Now, what else? We have a masks, right? To put on a costume. Like during Halloween, right? You have a Halloween party and you put some creepy, scary horror masks, right? Or costumes. And obviously some during Christmas party, New Year party, we have uh what is it? We have some kids like to put on some pirate or an animal like a lion clothes and costumes and masks, right? So then we have a party hat, obviously, party hat. As you can see, it's a triangle shape. We put it on our heads. Then a circus. Obviously, it's the place that party is all the time and all the time, right? Circus, we can see animals demonstrating some cool tricks and commands, like as you can see here, tiger jumping through the hula loop, or an elephant standing up, right? Or yeah, or obviously a clown making some interesting or funny actions himself. Okay, so next thing we are going to go through comparatives and superlatives. Now, comparative adjective is a word that describes a noun by comparing it to another noun. Okay, so as it says, and the name stands for, it's to compare one thing to another, right? So comparative adjectives typically and in er and are followed by the word then. Okay? A superlative adjective is a word that describes a noun by comparing it to two or more nouns to the highest or the lowest degree. Okay, so let's start. We have big, then it's bigger, and then we have the biggest. Okay, same goes for fat. Fat, fatter, the fattest. Okay, and then the rest, as you can see, you should try to pronounce it yourself. Let's go hot, hotter, the hottest. Cold, colder, the coldest. Okay, and as you can see, there are a double T for hotter. We add an extra T, right? Same goes, we'll go with wet, wetter, the wettest. Okay, now heavy, heavier, the heaviest. Right, good. Warm, warmer, the warmest. Hungry, hungrier, the hungriest. Okay, very good. Make sure to be able to repeat after me and obviously try to use them in everyday life conversations, right? So if you talk to your friends, you talk to your family members, and I don't know, let's say you are in a cold room and let's say you're uh, you you will tell your parent that your hand is colder than theirs because you were in the room where the aircon was very cold and make the room very cold. So your hand would be colder than your father's or mother's, right? That if unless they were in the colder, right? If it were to be your mother and father and they in every different room, so let's say your mother didn't turn on the aircon in one room and your father did even colder, so your father's hand would be the coldest. Your hand would be colder than your mother's, right? And your mother's obviously hand would not be cold, unlike yours or your father. Okay, good. So let's go now. Please open Family and Friends 5, right? Book. It's the, yeah, class book, please. Open the Family and Friends 5 class book on page 26. Okay, so let's read the story. Listen and read what is happening in the photo. Okay, you can see there are two pictures, one in Rio, Brazil, and the other one is Notting Hill, UK, in United Kingdom. So, what's the story? Let's read it out. The Notting Hill Carnival is not as big as Carnival in Rio. So obviously now can see that through the picture that it's a carnival, a party, right? An event. A carnival. Obviously, it's different to the party, but not so different. It, you can see that it says not as big as Carnival in Rio. What does it mean? That the carnival that happening in UK, Notting Hill, is not as big as Rio. So obviously, the Rio's carnival would be most likely more uh, active, meaning there will be more people performing the carnival, or there will be more audience, right? Or it's a bigger space in in They have more space for people to gather around and watch the carnival, right? Okay, what's next? But it's but it is the largest street festival in UK. Yet in UK, it is the largest. Okay, as you can see, largest, the largest to be exact, which means it is the biggest out of all of United Kingdom, right? And it's only the street festival, right? So if there are different, not a street festival or different kind of festival, obviously would not be able to be compared. But all of streets festival in UK, the largest one would be the Notting Hill Carnival. Okay, the Notting Hill Carnival. It's as colorful as the carnival in Rio, and it's the most exciting event in London every year. Okay, so it's as colorful, meaning it's bright. As you can see, there's same orange, and they're bright and beautiful to look at. Okay, in Rio, and it's most exciting event in London every year. Okay, it's an exciting event. This year, the carnival will be better than ever. So it'll be better than ever, right? So it'll be better than before. There'll be a competition for the best costume, and there will be lots of wonderful music. Don't miss it. Okay, so what's the difference? Most likely that before there wasn't any best costume uh, competitions, and unlike from the past, there'll be even more wonderful music playing around. Okay, make sure to read it out again. Try and make sure to understand the story. And let's go to number 2. Read and learn. Comparatives and superlatives. Comparatives. This year, the carnival will be better than ever. As you can see, better than ever. Superlatives will be its largest, the largest street festival in the UK, the one that I mentioned. It's the most exciting event in London. It's the most exciting. Okay. Use as to show that there is no difference between two people or things. It's as colorful as the carnival in Rio. So, as you can see from that story, there is no difference. They're both great at being colorful. The event, the carnival in Rio and the carnival in the Notting Hill. Okay. Okay, what's the next one? Use not as to show that there is a difference between two people or things. The Notting Hill Carnival is not as big as the carnival in Rio. There you go. Not as big as the carnival in Rio. Okay, good. So, can you see the difference between comparatives and superlatives, right? It's the Okay, let's go through the comparatives again. This year the carnival will be better than ever. Okay, and then superlatives, it's the largest street festival in the UK. Okay, let's go through the number 3. Read and circle. Let's go for the first one. Ollie is the funniest boy in the class. He is the funniest in the class. That means he's the only one that is the best at being funny. Okay, number 2. I think football is the better best sport in the world. So I think football is better or best sport in the world, right? So which one do you think it is? Okay, how about I will help you out with this first, this one, right? So as I mentioned before, I think football is the best sport in the world. Why? Is because there is no other sport to compare to football. If if there was a comparison between football, let's say, and basketball, then we could have said, I think football is better than basketball in the world, right? It's I think football is the better sport than basketball, right? That will be where we could have used better. But in this case, we have to use best. Right. Okay, let's go. My bag is big or bigger than your bag. Okay, as you can see, we compare here. So my bag is big or bigger than your bag. Make sure to circle the correct one. Okay, let's go for number 4. CDs are more expensive, most expensive than books. Okay, so more expensive or most expensive than books? Again, we compare. So which one is the correct one? Is it more expensive or most expensive? Number 5. Katie is friendlier or friendliest than her sister. Again, friendlier or friendliest, right? Oops. Friendliest than her sister. And number 6, I think history was the more interesting or most interesting lesson today. Okay, again, there's nothing else aside from history, so there's nothing to compare unless it's because the only thing in the lesson compared to all of the lessons of today. Okay, let's go for number 4. Write sentences about the girls use not as, right? So what we just learned about as and as or not as. The first one is Jenny, old Tara. Okay, so let's go look at Tara and let's look at Jenny, right? You can see that there might be the same age, but it's already have given us an example that Jenny, her, is not as old as Tara. Okay, very good. So that means that they're not that Jenny is not as old Tara. What does it mean? That means that Jenny is younger or older? Jenny is not as old as Tara. Right. So what do you think? Is it that is Jenny older or younger? Okay. Now let's go for number 2. Jenny, old, and then Karen. Okay. So using the first, as you can see, Karen is definitely older than Jenny and Tara. Well, in this case, Jenny, right? So what we would need to write here? We would need to write down that Jenny is she's as old as Karen or not as old as Karen. That's right. Not as old as Karen, right? Not as old as Karen. Okay, I hope you can see and understand. Not as old as Karen, okay? Why is because we can see that Karen is definitely older than Jenny. Okay, let's go for number 3. Karen's hair, long Jenny's hair. Okay, let's look at Jenny's hair and Karen's hair. And you can see that, obviously we can see that the hair of Karen is longer. So Karen's hair mhm, how we would put the sentence. Okay. So we are on number 3. Karen's hair, long Jenny's hair. So let's look at the hair of Karen. Look how long are there, right? Approximately this long, and then Jenny's hair is approximately this long. So obviously we can see that Karen's hair is longer than Jenny's. So what we would say is that Karen's hair is as long as Jenny's. All right. So, uh, is as long as Jenny's, right? As long as Jenny's. Okay. So the rest I'll be just saying, and you make sure write down the answers. Okay. So Tara's hair, long Karen's hair. Okay. Let's look at Tara's hair. Obviously they are short, and Karen's hair is obviously long. So if Tara's hair is shorter, so what we would say is Tara's hair is not as long as Karen's hair. Okay, so let's go through number 1 to number 4. Jenny is not okay. Number 1, Jenny is not as old as Tara. Number 2, Jenny is not as old as Karen. Number 3, Karen's hair as is as long as Jenny's hair. Number 4, Tara's hair is not as long as Karen's hair. Okay, very good. So number 5 and number 6, please do it yourself and make sure to do it correctly. If you have any question, please make sure to ask me if you have any. Okay, so let's go through the number 3 again of the exercise number 3. I'll give you one more example. My bag is big or bigger than your bag. My bag is obviously bigger because you compare your bag with mine. So my bag is bigger than your bag. Okay, that should be good. Let's go to the workbook. Okay, we are going through the workbook now. Page 24, please open page 24. And okay, we are going to do I'm going to explain some of the exercises, and you obviously have to do it yourself. So we use comparative to compare two people or things. We use the superlative to compare more than two people or things. Okay, good. Now, let's go to number 1. The first sentence. I've got 3 sisters. Melaine is the oldest. Okay. Melaine is the oldest. So I've got 3 sisters. So a person got three sisters, and Melaine is the oldest. Okay, let's go for number two. I'll help you with number two. The rest you have to do it yourself. Water skiing is, as you can see, the word exciting. So what do we have to do here is water skiing is more exciting than swimming. More exciting. Okay, you have to write more. Okay, good. Now the rest, do it yourself. I'll help you out to read the sentence. It says, Jack is tall boy in our class. Fiona is funny, but I think Ella is funny. The weather today is bad than yesterday. My history project was good in the school. Okay, so write the names. Okay, we have one, two, three, four names. Leo, Lena, Kathy, Poppy. Okay, I am as tall as Leah, but not as tall as Lena. Okay, this one is obviously Kathy. You can see that she is as tall as Leah, but not as tall as Lena. You can see the height, right? Okay, so the rest, you can do it yourself. Just look at the picture and see who is who. I am as fast as Kathy, not as fast as Leah. Okay, who that might be. I am the tallest, but I am the slowest. My hair is longer than Poppy's, but not as long as Kathy's. I am the fastest. Okay, who that might be. Okay, number three. Write write about write about you and your friends. Use these adjectives or your own ideas. Okay, so what you have to do is I'm not as, let's say, strong as one of your classmates, right? But I am as uh what tall as or funny as someone or more funny or the funniest in the classroom. Okay, so what you have to do is write down about yourself or use your own ideas. I just gave you a few examples already. I'm not as strong as someone, and I am as funny uh, as that or another person. Okay, good. So the rest, you can write few more sentences as, for example, I am the funniest boy or girl in the classroom, or I am more sporty than someone, okay, or as sporty. Okay, good. So make sure you write down at least few sentences. Okay, so it'll be at least one, two, three, four, five, six. So make sure you at least write 6 sentences to finish the first two and then write down 4 more. Okay, so that'll be it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.